one of the more incredible things about Lynn Allen is she began her career in the network marketing or multi-level marketing industry as a single mom. And I've heard her story in person, brings tears to your eyes, but really almost at a destitute level when she began. And she's now thriving. She has a residual income that allows her to travel and see the world. She lives there in Orlando, Florida, and she just breathes fresh breath air into everybody all the time. Just an inspiration to so many. The first time I heard your story about starting in this industry as a single mom and where you started at, and now watching what you've been able to accomplish, what you're still accomplishing, the way you feed into people and motivate people. You're just not just a superstar in this company, but you're a superstar worldwide in the network marketing industry. And we thank you so much for hopping on this broadcast today. We're going to sign off and turn it over to you and let you teach us how you do it.
Okay, I'm good. Thank you, Todd. Hang on one second. There. Now I'm here. This has been like amazing. And I know we just had this little glitch where we went down, but the technology of being able to do this is so exciting to me because as you know, we're all coming there. And I want to share how committed that ARIIX is to us. And I have to share this because this made me laugh so hard. But I was back and forth talking to you guys about making the trip, and we're watching the snow, and it's getting closer and closer. And I'm texting with Ken, and I'm thinking, this isn't looking good. And he said, well, I called Mark, and he said, we're good. So, the day before we're supposed to leave, all of a sudden we're getting texts that our flights have been canceled from Atlanta to Greensboro, no flights. So I get on the phone and I call Mark, and I said, Mark, our flights are canceled going into Greensboro. And, that doesn't look good. I said, is Fred and Ian going through Atlanta also? Because if they are, there's going to be a problem. He said, oh, yeah, they are. Thanks for the heads up. I'm going to get on the phone right now. And I'm going to call a rental company and I'm going to rent a truck. And so he said, it's only a 5 to 6 hour drive from Atlanta up to Greensboro. And so they can just hop in a truck. So if you can get to Atlanta. And I said, Mark, I am really committed to ARIIX. I love ARIIX. There's a lot that I will do for this company. But flying to Atlanta, you hop in a pickup truck with Ian and Fred to drive 6 hours in a blizzard is not one of them. So the whole thing was hilarious to me, and it just showed the passion and where, how badly they wanted this. And, I just want to commend all of you for pulling this off, for doing everything in your power to give us an event, even though the circumstances are just absolutely crazy. Like, who gets this much snow in North Carolina and everybody else? So I'm just praying for all the people up there that they're safe. And I'm just happy to be on this fuse room, even though it took me an hour to figure out how to get in. But I'm here, so I'm happy about that. So I want to talk about something that Ian said, because as I was listening to Ian talk, I was remembering back when I first started, and I got so emotional listening to him because I remember how I was introduced to network marketing and how broke I was. And I'm living in an apartment in Central Florida, and I didn't have 10 cents in the bank. And I didn't have any way that I could think of that I could ever stop working, number one, or number two, that I could make my life any better, because I didn't have an education. I mean, I barely got out of high school. And so I don't have a career. I just had odd jobs my whole life, single mom, food stamps, trying to raise my kids. And all of a sudden, I find myself in my 50s living in this apartment, and I'm wondering how I am ever going to stop working. And it was so profound to me when I learned about network marketing, because actually I'm one of those people who got some products in the mail, kind of like what Ian was talking about. You come in, you take some great products, and you feel like maybe you'll share them. And, so my journey was one of evolving, if you will. So I wasn't in good health. I was 50 pounds overweight. I was also a chain smoker at the time. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is about being real and showing the space that I was in when I began this journey. So I'm 50 pounds overweight. I'm dead broke. I'm 50 years old. I'm living in an apartment. I got some supplements in the mail. I started taking them and I started feeling better. And the minute I started feeling better, of course, people notice. And then I want to run my mouth. And my daughter is saying, you know what, Mom, you might as well be a rep. And I'm like, I don't want to be a network marketer. I didn't even know really what network marketing was. I just was quite sure I didn't want to be one because of the way everybody reacted whenever I said it. I just thought, no, I don't want to do that, but I'll just share products with people. I'll just go out there and try and help people and make them feel better because I am a caregiver and I do want to save the world. And I'm always about fixing people and making their lives better. And so I started
This
sharing
conference
products.
is being recorded.
And as I'm sharing the products, I'm realizing that people are thanking me, they're hugging me, and I have this good feeling inside that says, wow, Lynn, you're doing so awesome. And, I didn't know I was doing what network marketers do. I had no clue, but I started sharing the products and I led strictly from the products. I mean, I would drive 30 miles for somebody that had a joint pain so that I could fix them. I mean, that's how off balance I was with this, but it felt really good at the same time. So it took me 4.5 years of playing around with this before I finally decided that I was going to attend an event. And it was an annual convention. And I went to this event because I wanted to see what the people look like who were making the money. And I think mainly I went because I wanted to prove that I couldn't make any more because I had never done anything in my life other than just exist, paycheck to paycheck. Never had I even had a dream of what I now live. And so I went to this event, and at this event, I was looking at the people who were making the big money, the people who were standing on the stage. And I realized for the first time when I attended this event that they were people just like me. They weren't, all business people with, master's degrees and dressed in three-piece suits and, up there with big educations. They were plumbers, they were housewives, they were ordinary people who had achieved extraordinary things in their life because they chose this as their vehicle. And it was then, for the first time, that I realized that maybe, just maybe, this was my answer to create freedom in my life. And so what I did is, after listening to everybody there, I walked around and I looked for somebody who was at a high level in this company. And I asked them to give me 2 pointers because I didn't have anybody to help me. I didn't have an upline. I didn't have a coach. I didn't have anybody. And so I asked this person to give me 2 pointers, for me to get where you are, what do I have to do? And he said, number 1, work on yourself first. Well, I had no idea what that meant. I thought I was fine. I didn't know what work on myself meant. I just wrote it down that I needed to work on myself. And number 2, he said, if you're going to build this, build it quickly because building it slowly is painful. So I thought, okay. And I got those 2 things in my mind. And I sat down and I started to realize that the work on yourself part was the toughest job that I would ever have to do. Because not only did I doubt the industry, I doubted myself. I had major belief issues. I had major self-worth issues. I had issues of who is going to listen to me? Why would anybody listen to me? Because I'm a nobody. And I struggled with that so much, with what was between my ears. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. How can I talk to, a successful person? And here I am living in some apartment and all of these challenges that I went through. And so I remember sitting down with my sister and we were talking about this. And I said, how do I work on myself? What does that mean? And she said, people have to want what you have. And I said, Bonnie, right now, I don't even want what I have. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like the way I felt. I didn't like where I lived. And so this whole process of changing me began. And that's when I knew that I had I was evolving into something more than I ever thought possible. And it was then for the first time that I realized that I had something great inside of me that I had always hidden and just never let it out. I never went after a dream. I never even allowed myself to dream because I didn't know that I was capable of having any more or doing any more than what I already had. And so I started looking at my life differently. I started thinking, okay, what would you want, Lynn, if you could have it all? And I started visioning what I would want to do if I could have every single thing in my life. And I had never allowed myself to do that. Not once. I settled. And I think so many people out there settle. We just, we come into this life and we don't live our greatness and we don't let our light shine. We play it safe. We just do. We just exist. And when I started in this industry, that's where I was. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about this now. And I'm getting emotional because I know where I was. I liked nothing about my life. I had no experience. And I'm the person that Ian was talking about. And I've talked to him for years and years and years. And I'm like, hey, how do I do this? What do I need to do? I need to believe in myself. I need people to want what I have. So I knew I had to start changing. So I had to not smoke, because how do you represent a nutrition company when you're a chain smoker? It doesn't work. Of course, that didn't help with the weight, because then I got fatter, and that's another whole story. But the point is, I began working on myself, trying to be the best person that I could be. The other thing that I did is I started dreaming, allowing myself to dream. And I realized for the first time that goals never got me anywhere. People always said, okay, write down your goals. If you write down a goal, you're much more likely to achieve it. You'll never achieve a goal if you don't put it on paper. And so I put them on paper. Every single year, I wrote my goals. I want to have more money. I want to have a better life. I want to be healthier. I want to be thinner. All of that, I wrote it every year. And I realized through this journey that the reason that I had never accomplished any of that is because I never truly believed that I would. I was going through the motions of what people said you had to do to be successful. And I also realized as I was evolving into a network marketer that I had major issues with this industry. And by that I mean, I was not proud to be a network marketer. I was embarrassed. I would pray that nobody would ask me if this company was network marketing, because somehow it would devalue the products. So my work on me began with what was between my ears. Number one, it was how I felt about myself, my self-worth. Number two was how I felt about the industry. How do you promote an industry that you're not proud of? I led with products for 4.5 years. And the reason I did that was because it felt so good with everybody coming to me and saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're changing my life. I just love you. And I'm like, yay, me. And I'm all happy. But it wasn't building a business. And I was never talking about the business. So it was a journey. And I'm saying all of this, on this call today, because I know there's people here who are in the same spot that I was, where your belief level isn't high, where you struggle with your self-worth, where you struggle with fear. I was paralyzed with fear because I didn't know if I could do it. I just knew that I had to put my dreams above my fears if I was ever going to get out of the space that I was. And when I found network marketing and decided it was going to be my vehicle, I knew for the first time that I could create the future I wanted if I was willing to do the work. And the work began with working on me. So that became my journey, working on me and understanding the power of the industry and basically getting out of my own way, which is a name of a book that I actually published, because I realized that I had played small my entire life. And I played small because of what was between my ears. And I can blame it on circumstances, and I can blame it on lack of education, and I can blame it on a bad marriage, and I can blame it on being a single mom. I can blame it on everything. But I played small because of what was here, because I never thought past the mediocrity of the life that I lived. And that's why I am so passionate about network marketing, because it's the only thing, it's the only way that somebody like me, an ordinary person with no skills, can create an extraordinary life and live the abundance that I now live. And so as I'm listening to Ian talk and I'm listening to the others talk, it's bringing me back to my beginning, to thinking about where I came from and how I've evolved from being a person that was afraid to talk to anybody, a person that I felt so bad when somebody rejected me. I mean, every time somebody said no, it brought up every issue of my childhood and everything that had ever happened, and it was all personal. And now I look back at that and I just smile and I'm like, this is business. This is business. I'm not there now. But back then, that's where I was. And it's what kept me stuck. And I'm sharing that because I want to unstick everybody here, everybody that believes they can't do it, everybody that's filled with fear. I want you to ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen to you by doing this, by really embracing this and deciding you're going to go for it? The worst thing is that you're going to grow yourself personally. You're going to grow yourself financially. You're going to step out of a comfort zone and move in the direction of your dreams. I mean, even just a little, because our dreams are not in our comfort zone. Here's your comfort zone. We're in here. But our dreams are out here. And I knew that. And every time I cracked the shell a little bit and I moved a little bit further out, I realized that I had taken one more step in working on me. So I'm giving that piece of advice because I never realized how profound working on me meant. I didn't even know what he was talking about when he said it. It was the best advice that anybody ever gave me, and that's the advice that I want to give you. I want you to be your best self, to believe in yourself. I want people to want what you have, because until you want what you have, nobody else is going to want it either. And it took me a while to figure that out. It took me about 4.5 years of playing around in this industry to figure that part out. And so then I knew I had to work on me. And the second piece of advice he gave me was to, if you're going to build it quickly. And then I remember to this day sitting down with Fred Cooper, who you're going to hear from in a little bit. And I said, Fred, okay, how do I get to where I can make a lot of money? Again, I didn't have an upline. I didn't have anybody to help me. How do I get to where I can make, $250,000 a year or something big, like the big earners do? And he said, that's easy. You find 4 people who want to make a minimum of $50,000 a year, and you help each one of those people get to there. And that'll take you to the top. And I'm like, really? 4 people? How hard can that be? And in my mind, because I don't know any better, I'm thinking, I live in Central Florida. There's probably 18 million people here. And that means I can get, 2 from the north, 2 from the south. I'm in, so I'm feeling really good. Like I'm just going to go home and I'm going to find them. And it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. And I was listening to all this advice from people who said, oh, it's a 3-foot rule. You talk to anybody within 3 feet of you and you stick them to a wall, you see who sticks. And I had all this stuff going on in my mind and all the training I was trying to get, until I finally realized that it was me who was going to choose my people. It wasn't people, just anybody. I didn't want just anybody. I spent my whole life in corporate America, and I wasn't always happy with who they picked to work with me. And I'm sure there's a lot of you that can relate to that. And I realized all of a sudden that I was putting together my power team, that I was going to choose the people that I wanted to work with. I wasn't going to accept just anybody. And all of a sudden, my posture in this changed. And then I read a book that absolutely impacted me more than anything that has happened since I've been in network marketing. And it was by John Maxwell. And it was the 17 Indisputable Laws of Teamwork. And as I'm reading that book, I'm highlighting and I'm messaging all these things. And he said in the book, if you have, the first thing you've got to do is get your dream. And if you have a Mount Everest sized dream, you have to make sure you can put together, or you put together, a Mount Everest sized team. And so I wrote my vision, and that's a whole other talk, but I wrote a whole vision statement of where I was going to be in 2 years, drew my line in the sand, said failure is not an option. This is my journey. This is what I am going to do. Failure, again, is not an option. I didn't care who said no anymore. I knew that this was my answer. And so I went out there looking for these 4 people. And I read this book, and it said, again, if you have a Mount Everest-sized dream, which I did, you have to put together a Mount Everest-sized team. And it said, look at the size of your team or look at the people on your team and ask yourself, are the people on my team going to take me to this Mount Everest sized dream? Do I have a Mount Everest sized team? And that was so profound to me because I looked at the people I was surrounding myself with and the people I was trying to drag along on my team because I had a dream for them bigger than theirs. And I realized that I didn't have a Mount Everest sized team. And in the book, it said, if you don't have a Mount Everest sized team to get you to your dream, you have two choices. One is you give up your dream, and I wasn't willing to do that. Or two, you find a new team. And that to me was where my complete clarity and understanding of this industry began. So what I did is I wrote a letter to everybody that was on my team. I just wrote this very generic letter to my entire team. And I said, I have a Mount Everest sized dream. In 2 years, this is where I am going to be. I'm going to be living at the beach. I am going to be free. I'm going to be taking my grandkids on cruises. I am going to live the life that I was put here to live. I'm going to wake up every day and I'm going to do exactly what I want to do when time and money don't dictate my day. That's what I'm going to do. And I let people know that I was putting together a Mount Everest sized team and that I was looking for a select group of people. And that posture is what allowed me to take my business to the top, because I no longer cared if anybody said yes or if anybody said no. I still don't care, but I didn't care way back then. And I would say to people, this is where I'm going to be in 2 years. And if they started whining and saying, I don't know if I can find 4 people, or I don't know, or I would be like, with all due respect, this isn't for you. I wish you good luck on your journey. And I would just move and move and move, because my job was to find those 4 people. And I needed a Mount Everest sized team. And when people weren't sure, I'd say, well, this train is moving with or without you. So you can either hop on or you can get out of the way. And again, everybody looked at me differently when I changed my posture. And I changed my posture when I wrote a vision statement, number 1, that told me where I was going to be. When I read this book that told me to get there, I needed a Mount Everest sized team, and I realized I didn't have one. And I changed my posture when I drew a line in the sand and accepted the fact and claimed the fact that this was my future, that this is the most powerful industry on the planet, and that it was my vehicle to create the life that God put me here to live. So that is my journey in short. I could spend days talking about this, because I came from nowhere. And it's so interesting to me, because when I talk to people on my team and I talk to them about posture, they say, well, Lynn, it's easy for you to have posture because, you've made so much money in this business. It's easy for you to have posture. And I said, you're not getting it. I had posture in the beginning, as soon as I claimed what I was going to do. That is how I got here. It's not the reverse. You don't get to be a chairperson too and then start your posture. My posture started when I drew my line in the sand, when I wrote my vision statement, when I decided that I love this industry, when I worked on myself, decided I was worthy, and got out of my own way. So as I'm listening to all of this today, and I'm listening to everybody talk about the amazing products that we have, I'm feeling so blessed, because I'm filled with, oh my gosh, it couldn't be any better for us. We've got the best products. Nobody even knows we're here. And the timing of this couldn't be any better either. And I'm just so grateful that I made the decision to come to ARIIX. I am so grateful that I decided my future was worth fighting for. I am so grateful that I feel like this is just the beginning for me, and that I get to surround myself with amazing people like every single person that's on this call. I listened to Ian. I'm going back to you, Ian, because I just love you so much, and we've known each other for such a long time. And I remember when we started, and not only didn't believe in me, it was all of you that helped me to start to believe in myself and get out of my own way and realize that I was worth more and I could do more. And now I know that it's about all of us together lifting, as we're climbing out of where we are. We had a bad economy. Things are a mess. This industry is so powerful. This opportunity is so powerful. And as we're climbing out, we've got to lift others. And that's the thing about ARIIX, about this plan, about this company, about this industry that I absolutely love, because I can still be a caretaker if I want to, but I want to empower people. I want people to know that if I can do this, they can do it. I have nothing special. Again, I was 50 years old, dead broke, 50 pounds overweight when I started in this industry. And that was almost 18 years ago. And I now live a life that most people only dream of. And still, when I say network marketing to people, they'll go, oh my gosh, I can't even believe you got sucked into one of those, and they have all these issues. And I'm like, I'm so happy to be one of the 1%ers or 2%ers that understand the value of this industry and the blessed lives that we all get to live just by being a part of it. So I have a lot of things that I could say. None of this is what I planned on saying today, but it just came from Ian's talk and from everything I've heard. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to be able to share. Number one, I want to say thank you to all of you for showing, your commitment by being, on this call today and being a part of this, and all of us together with all these amazing products and the amazing timing and opportunity that we have. Shame on us if we don't grab this and take it to the world and help take ARIIX to $1 billion. That's our job. They've given us everything else. They gave us the best products. You're going to hear about the comp plan, the management team. We adore them. And most importantly, they adore us. And that's something that I was never used to in corporate America either. We have everything. We have to do the work on ourselves, on our belief in the industry. We've got belief in the products. We've got to know we can do it. We need business plans. We need to take all of this big energy that we have from this event today, and we need to turn this into momentum as we move forward in 2016 and go out there and really not just stick your toes in the door, which so many people are doing. They just crack the door and they give it a shot. Our job is to kick the door down. Let's do it together. Thank you so much. I don't know how much time I'm supposed to speak, but I want to turn it over to Fred, and I'm just so excited to be a part of this. God bless everybody and your businesses, and let's do this. I'm done.